everybody. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for tuning in to the first Jump Into Racing live stream. I'm super excited to be here. I'm Bri Mott. I'm from StableDuel, and I'm coming in as a new fan to jump racing in the world of steeplechase. But that's why I have these two experts. I've got Steve Coxon next to me. He's from USASteeplechase. You got to check out his website. We'll put the link up here, but follow him on Twitter if you haven't already. And then below me, we have Megan Connolly. She is the NSA, National Steeplechase Association analyst and commentator. Very excited to have her as well. But these are the experts. We're happy to have you all. Comment on YouTube. If you're on Twitter, pop over to YouTube just so that you can interact. And we're going to have a fun night ahead of us. Steve, what's up? How are you doing tonight?
Good, Bri. How are you doing?
Good. Excited to have you. Are you excited for the meet to kick off?
Absolutely. I've just got to turn my phone down because I'm already getting razzed by people.
Steve said he's a little nervous. So we're going to, this is what you need for nerves. This is the Friday night kickoff cocktail. You gotta kick it off, you know?
Huge mistake.
We need a sponsor for that.
Yes, we can work on that. Megan, how are you doing tonight?
I'm fantastic, Bri. I'm happy to be here and excited to kick off Jump Into Racing with everybody who's watching on YouTube, but especially to be bringing you into the fold with StableDuel. It's super exciting for the NSA to have the partnership. And as you mentioned, the 9 race meets this spring. And of course, Steve's passion will carry over to all of these conversations, not only as a social media guru, but also a really passionate owner. We'll get to hear more about that later on in the show.
Absolutely. We've got a fun show ahead. We're hoping to keep it in an hour. We're going to talk about what we have in front of us for the spring racing and steeplechase. We're going to talk about the exciting partnership with the NSA and StableDuel and what that means for you all that are watching. And then we have 2 awesome guests coming on here. President of Aiken. We also have an owner, Jordan Wyckoff, who's a big fan as well. It's going to be an exciting show. So why don't we first touch on what we have in front of us? So obviously for StableDuel, we have 9 meets. We'll get to that. But really, we're kicking off tonight because tomorrow is the first jump race of the entire season. So Aiken. So what does the steeplechase spring season look like, Megan?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Bri. It's 15 race meets this spring. 9 of those, as you mentioned, are part of the StableDuel contest. And we've got some really exciting things. First of all, well done to the NSA to increase purses this year in the spring, particularly up by $200,000. And that is significant in that the grade 2 Temple Golf meet is now $100,000. The grade 2 David Sams is up to $100,000. And then, of course, the grade 1 Iroquois, our first grade 1 of 5 on the year, is up to $200,000. We have 12 hurdle stakes total this spring, equaling $870,000 in purses. So it's going to be really, really rich for anybody who is involved as an owner, as a trainer. Of course, the jockeys get their piece of the pie too, but just really great meets up and down the Eastern Shore and Mid-Atlantic area. And yeah, it's going to be tomorrow at Aiken. It's a new venue for Aiken. They ran there back in October. I'm excited to hear from President Frank Mullins later about how it's going since they had that first meet. But tomorrow is going to be a big day. As you mentioned, it is a kickoff to the spring season. We've got our leading trainer from 2022, Leslie Young, who is full of horses. She's got a loaded list tomorrow, as does Carrie Bryan, who's got, I think, 8 runners tomorrow. Yeah. And then, of course, there are there are point-to-points happening this weekend where a lot of other trainers are prepping their horses for later on in the spring, both over hurdles and over timber. So there's a lot to look forward to.
And we're going to touch on the hurdles and the timbers as we go through the show, but let's talk about the new StableDuel partnership. So StableDuel, actually, got to give a shout out to Steve because he was really, really, really important in making sure that this happened. So Steve kind of brought in that we needed to bring some exciting partnerships into the steeplechase and the jump world. And so he hooked us up and connected us. So thanks to Steve, but we are excited. StableDuel has 9 free-to-play contests in the app, completely free, promotional, but you can win $2,000 in cash prizes. It does not start this weekend. We are just highlighting the race for Aiken, but we start for the first time April 15th at Tryon and My Ladies Manor. So it'll be an exciting both meets there for free-to-play contests in the StableDuel app. And we have 9, so a total of $18,000 in prizes to get you all to have a good time watching the jump races. Go to the events. You can still buy tickets for every single one of them. We're talking about what it's like to be there. I personally can't wait. I'm going to go to a bunch of them this year. There's always been the Iroquois, which is in Nashville. Obviously, Nashville's great. So if there's horses in Nashville, it's even better. But take a look at the website, StableDuel, or go to the National Steeplechase Association. Look at the schedule. You can see if there's a race close to you, buy tickets, attend, tailgate, whatever it is. Guys, it's going to be a blast. And then, of course, play StableDuel. If you can't attend, another cool thing that's happening this year is you can watch for free live. So on the NSA website, National Steeplechase Association, I'm going to be able to by the end of this, you can watch live the races as they go off. So we're going to have plenty of those links so that you can see. We got Adam here. Oh, thank you. We got Craig here. Craig's awesome. Parker. We have a lot of awesome people already tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. But yeah, let's kick it into what's different about jump racing than flat racing. I'm the newbie here. I know that there's newbies listening. I mean, one of the things that is kind of a shocker is there's a 3-mile race in jump racing. 3-mile races do not exist in flat racing. So, Steve, what are some of the differences between flat racing and jump racing? Just the ones that just are glaringly different.
Glaringly obvious. Obviously, they have to jump. They have to jump hurdles.
Obstacles.
Yep.
Obstacles. Yeah, we've got to get that right because there's a couple of variations. So yeah, they have to jump hurdles or obstacles. Hurdles would be the hurdle racing. In timber racing, they have to jump the wooden fences. So that's the.
And it's cross country.
And the cross country. Sorry, keep me right here, Megan.
It's okay.
So we'll bring up a picture. So this is a picture of one of the. This would be hurdle. Is that right?
That is a hurdle race. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sean McDermott, tight there, and Irv Naylor silks.
Yeah, that looks like it's
nice.
Saratoga, I think. Yeah. So yeah, that's a glaring obvious. The one of the big other differences is they don't start with starting gates. It's usually with a tape. So
like a big rope sort of thing.
Yeah. They have some fun and games there. And sometimes it's just a flag. So the flag will go down and the horses will go off. So you can get some fun experiences at the gate. Parker's on. He'll tell you a few interesting tales about that. And it's the distance. So, it's 2 miles the minimum. So, most of the races tomorrow are 2 mile and 1/16. Like Megan said, the Iroquois goes as far as 3 miles, and then they can go as far as 4 miles, some of the timber racing. So it's you're talking 8 minutes, whereas these 5 furlong sprinters are done in minute flat. So it's a whole different tactics. It's a lot more tactical, I'd say. Get in position, and then just jumping the fences is so important. So if these horses are making mistakes, they can lose lengths, at every fence, and then they just eventually it's just very, very difficult to catch up. So it's a whole different sort of dynamic.
Very more endurance driven. I mean, obviously the horses need to be fit just like they are in flat, but it's a different kind of fitness.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't think they try not to be as keyed up as they are in the flat races. You see them going down at the start of a flat race and they're on their toes and you can see the energy, whereas that's not really what you want in a jump horse, because you've got to get that horse to settle over a distance. You'll find that's one of the biggest differences. Yeah.
Well, and I think a shocker to some. So we'll ask this on social media soon, but does everyone know what breed of horse is a steeplechaser? And I'm sure there will be some people with the wrong answer, but they are thoroughbreds. Just as we have thoroughbreds on the flat racing, they are thoroughbreds on the steeplechase. And you'll see, which we'll touch on later, that some of the thoroughbred flat racers actually transfer over, and some of them do even better in steeplechase than they did on the flat, which owners can try. They can say, okay, really not the career we were looking for. Why don't we try them on steeplechase? And there are great trainers out there that seem to understand how to convert them, and very successfully. So, Steve, you're an owner yourself. What has been the highest of highs for you as an owner?
I think so. I joined the jump racing community last year. So I'm a newbie. I'm a year ahead of you, Bri. Now,
Okay.
I was doing this in England before you were born, but I've only been going a year or so. But last year we won the Carolina Cup with Historic Heart, with Paul Willis and Atlantic Friends Racing. And then, but the biggest moment we went to, now here's the irony, we went to Far Hills and we won the flat race at Far Hills, which is another little kink. But we won the John Forbes Stakes, which was a $100,000 race that day. But that was over the flat because it was the one flat race that day. So that was probably the highest we've had so far. But we won at Saratoga with Theo Kratt and Atlantic Friends Racing. And then whenever my friends win, I always jump in the photograph. So it's just.
That's what you do.
When Upland,
supporting them, right?
Oh yeah. Anytime Upland Flats wins, Patrick Lewis, I'm front and center next to Patrick with my arm around him.
Well, so Megan, you have been in both worlds. You've been in the flat racing world and the jump world, and I think wearing a bunch of different hats. What is your favorite thing about the jump racing world?
Gosh, it's a community. Not that flat racing doesn't have a community, but flat racing is, it's more hardline business driven. It's really about the numbers, whereas in steeplechase community, we're a small niche, which of course we're trying to grow. But it's you become friends with everybody and you become lifelong friends, and people just have a different approach to training and racing horses. And you might see, Jack Fisher and his wife Sheila on timber horses on Saturday, fox hunting, that are running the following Saturday at, some race meet somewhere in the fall, and they're legging them up and they're getting them that mileage that keeps the fitness and the schooling over the coops and the walls. It's just a different thing. It's horses are treated differently. They train on farms usually. They get to turn out. Some of them live out all the time. And it's a bit slower paced. It's not so frenetic like working at the racetrack. When I worked at the racetrack, I had to be at work at 4:00 in the morning. Right. And I was there until the night watchman came on at 6 or 6:30. And, it's an all day thing. And not that people don't work equally as hard in jump racing, but it's a different approach. Your exercise rider is mucking 7 stalls before he gets on his first horse. And then at the end of training, that person now is back knocking those horses off, putting bandages on and cleaning tack and leaving the barn at 5:30 or 6:00 at night. You will never, ever find an exercise rider at the flat track. Never, ever. So there's just a lot of differences. It's a different lifestyle. But I like the community. I love the history of it. I love the tradition. There's a pageantry with it that, horses and their owners, the horses thrive in this second career for some of them. As you mentioned before, they're thoroughbreds, and a lot of them start at the flat track. But there's a pageantry at flat racing, and you'll see it particularly like Leslie Young. Her horses always come to the paddock braided. They have shark's teeth or quarters on their hindquarters. Their tails are docked. They look like they could be running at Cheltenham or Aintree or Royal Ascot. I mean, there's just such a flair to it that I appreciate every time I see it. So there's just a lot of little nuances that I think are missing from flat racing that I personally enjoy and appreciate. And I think that's why I've always leaned towards jump racing versus flat, although flat I spent a lot of time in. But anyway.
Okay, I like it. So we've got a question on here, and then I would love to talk about the highlights of the meet. So the stakes races, also the horses that are highly rated. But let's answer this one. So Edward just asked, interesting pony conversation. Are the jockeys more at risk in the steeplechase races? So Steve, Megan, either of you want to answer his question?
Steve, you go first.
Thank you, Megan. I don't know the actual stats. I would probably say yes. Obviously, having to jump obstacles at pace. So I would say yes. There is probably more injuries for the jockeys. I actually posted something on Twitter the other day about one of the top jockeys in Ireland, and he pretty much has broken every single bone in his body. But then I posted something about Pablo Morales the other day, and the horse bit his finger off in the starting gates. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
dreadful
nasty.
stories. Exactly. So I think there is inherent danger, whichever flat or jump. But I'd probably say, yeah, because of jumping obstacles, there's probably a little more danger to the jockeys jumping the fences, definitely.
So Megan, you go, and just we're gonna put this over here. We're expressing our opinions. We are not expressing stats. We are not expressing any authority here. These are solely our opinions. Megan, go ahead.
So I got the privilege to interview Chris McCarron a couple years ago at Iroquois, and his nephew Matt McCarron was a steeplechase jockey. And Chris said he goes into the jockey's tent and he applauds the steeplechase jockeys. He said he would never in a million years get on a steeplechase horse, because I think the stat that he said was 1 out of 8 races they fall. Flat jockeys fall too. Flat jockeys are going a lot faster. Those horses are at a higher rate of speed. They tend to be more tightly bunched. If one of those horses goes down, or 2 of them or 3 of them, or a jockey is pitched to the ground, I think that the chance of injury is equally as great, if not greater. But when a steeplechase horse goes down, there's no comparison. You're hitting the ground. And if a horse falls on top of you, you're at risk for injury. So I think it's really kind of both. But I do know that steeplechase horses fall. Oftentimes there is no injury. Horses get up, they walk off, jockeys get up and walk off. But I do believe that, yes, there would probably be more injury. It's more dangerous to be a steeplechase jockey.
As a rider that does cross-country jumping, I 9 times out of 10 would rather fall off on the grass that you're seeing in this picture behind us than fall in the arena because a horse spooks. Anytime, like I had a horse fall over a jump with me, we both fell down. I got up, he got up, we were able to walk away. Thank goodness. We both probably were a little sore the next day. But to me, I think that correct, there's injuries in both, and really it's how it happens. If there's other factors or other horses involved, sometimes you just get popped out of the saddle, which is what happened in that one race that they keep showing with 2 horses where he was in the clear to win. He went over, he kind of got popped up. The horse took a step to the right. The balance was gone. That's what happened. I ended up breaking my ankle that way, to be honest. That stuff happens. I think riding in general is risky, period. So again, opinions from 3 of us, no stats here. I don't know. Yeah, you're probably gonna have to dive
Good question, though.
Yes, thanks for the questions. We got another one. Bill Derby, if that's really your name, I applaud you, because this is the horse racing world. You're already winning. Where might one be able to obtain data about these horses and their past? Is this supported by DRF? So I know Equibase has the entries. Does DRF have the entries as well?
You can get you get the PP. So for every jump race, on DRF.
And oftentimes, if there's wagering at a steeplechase meet, the NSA will also have have a PDF version of the PPs available on the website.
So Virginia Gold Cup, there's wagering, and Far Hills, there's also wagering. And then in the StableDuel app for our free-to-play promotional contest, we have horse details screens, so you can look at the horses' records and their past races in that one as well on the screens for free if you play the games starting April 15th. So,
and Bri, the big announcement this year is there's wagering at Colonial Downs in the summer.
Ooh,
so,
that's a Churchill Downs. That's a Churchill Downs track, though. We gotta get them on board, guys. Gotta get them on board here.
Yep.
So Trish said, where can I find the full jump racing schedule for the year? National Steeplechase Association.
NationalSteeplechase.com.
There we go.
NationalSteeplechase.com.
Put it in the chat, Trish, and make it super easy for you.
Terrific.
Boom. There you go. All right. One other thing before we hit some high points on the horses, exciting horses this year. We need your vote. So we are going to have a shirt that is representing Trish. Let's see if we can take your comment off here, even though I love your picture and your dog. We need your vote for Jump Into Racing t-shirt design. Here are 3. There are 3 more. And I can tell you that there is a front runner currently because I did some counts today.
I know what it is.
But we have until the 29th. So that's next Wednesday before we select the winner. We get the shirts made and then we start handing them out. I'm sure you can buy one. You can win one. We're going to have the shirts all over. But please go. And I'm going to put, now I got to do a new copy and paste here. I'm going to put the link up here to Jump Into Racing website. You can also click on that and find the link to vote. Boom, it's in there. If you haven't voted yet, or if you feel like voting again because you want to bump up yours, go ahead, go there, put your vote in. We need to know what shirt you want to represent the entire Jump Into Racing campaign. All right, let's get this off of here. So let's move on. So I don't even know what the term is, but you talk about the highly rated horses. What's the term that we're discussing, and why are they that term?
So the NSA adopted the British Horse Racing Association's ratings program. And so horses are rated based on wins, race effort, things like that. And so every time they win a race, they go higher and higher and up on a ratings list. So the NSA has a panel of 3 people who rate those horses. They are experts in their profession in doing that. And so they, every race meet, once the results are official, then they go back and they look at who won, who lost, and they'll change the numbers based on those efforts. And then if there's a handicap, the horses, like a ratings handicap, like there is tomorrow, the horses are weighted for what their rating is. And the race conditions are written based on those ratings. So it could be like 110, rating 110 or below. It could be 120 down to 110. So instead of claiming races, we have ratings handicaps.
Okay.
Because that's better for the horseman, because jump racing is very unique in that, you know, a lot of these trainers are small outfits and they only have a couple of horses. They don't want to lose a horse in a claiming race, but the horse doesn't have the ability to compete in a stakes race or, and, you know, non-winners of 2 or 3 kind of race. So the NSA has been very creative in how they have written these races to make horses eligible at a level that's a very even playing field for these horses who are of the same capability until they show that they are capable of going higher and competing against higher rated horses. So hopefully that helps to understand it better. So
that did. So it's a way for conditions for races. And then it's also a way to rate the horses, which on a fan side, I feel like that's helpful, as we can see what the highly rated horses are. So what do we call them? Highly rated, rated?
Well, the current horses in training are rated. So I think there's currently 80 hurdle horses. We don't rate the timber horses, only the hurdle horses, and maidens would not be on the ratings list.
Got it.
So of the horses in training, and the trainers are required to submit what horses they have in training every season. Then those horses are put on the ratings list. So of the 80, the top 5 currently, the number 1 rated horse at 160 is Snap Decision, who was a contender twice now for an Eclipse Award. He lost last year to Hewick, which was very controversial for a lot of folks. And he was a contender in 2021 as well. And he lost that year to the Mean Queen, but he's currently at the top. So we'll see him pop up somewhere this spring, likely at Middleburg in the middle of April or 3rd week of April. And then second rated is Winston C. He's at 148. So a bit of a gap there, 12 points. He was the 2019 Eclipse Award winner. He missed 2020 and 2022 for reasons unknown, but I'm glad to see that he is now back in training, and we look forward to seeing him come out. Steve, he is sampled where your horses are. Did you get any line from Carrie, who I know is watching right now with her posse down in Aiken?
Text her now for more information. The thing Carrie mentioned this morning is that Winston C's target is going to be the AP Smithwick at Saratoga.
Okay, so he's a ways off from that.
Yeah, and he won that in 2019. So
yeah, won that well. In fact, that picture I think you showed, Bri, was of him winning that race.
Yeah, and Bri, going back to one of your questions about, you know, the difference between jump racing and flat racing, there is a perfect example. Winston C won a race in 2019. He's going to try and win it again in 2023.
Yeah.
So
longevity.
Yeah, Flightline ran 6 races and he's in Korea. Winston C's running, you know, 8 and 9 years. So.
Let's not compare things to Flightline, okay, guys? That one in itself is like really over here. There's other ones, but I get it.
So then moving on. Yeah, we've got Noah and the Ark, who's rated at 146. He is just a really great horse. It's a great story. He comes from one of those small outfits, Todd McKenna's barn. He was second to Hewitt in the American Grand National back in October at Far Hills. He won the Grade 1 Lonesome Glory at Aqueduct. So he had two really big efforts last year, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. He actually did win the Carolina Cup a couple of years back as well with Harry Beswick in the saddle, and he came from behind and just blew us all away with his monster performance. So glad to see that he's the third rated horse. Then we go to the fourth rated horse, which is a horse named Bedrock, rated at 144. He missed 2022, but he did win the Grade 2 Zeke Ferguson in 2021, and he was two graded stakes. He was third place finished in both of those, including the Iroquois. So he's a horse who's got a lot of talent. Cyril Murphy, his trainer who trains for Irv Naylor, has a talent for training these horses who require a lot of management. He's got his issues, but glad to see that he is back. He was an import, and I'm looking forward to seeing him run well again this year. He's just an amazing looking animal. He's stunning, absolutely stunning. Mm-hmm. Then we go to Steve's horse, rated at 142, Ask Paddington. He was third 2 times in Grade 1 stakes last fall from 3 starts since coming to the United States. So Steve, tell us what we can expect from Ask Paddington this year.
Yeah, let's put this on the table. It's not my horse. I may own his left leg. I'm in a partnership with Dwight Hall and Gigi. My buddy Patrick Lewis, who's down in Nashville, and I bought 25% of this horse for our USA Steeplechase syndicate. So he was previously running for a crazy couple of Irish guys that would actually fly into New York, watch him race, and then fly back to Ireland. 2 great guys. And they decided they want to get a younger horse, so they sold Ask Paddington. He's going to be entered in the Temple Gwathmey, and then his target is Iroquois.
Right.
In the 3-miler.
Good to know. Okay. And then rounding out the top 5.
I just want to say how good Steve looks riding his horse right there. Kudos.
Yes.
Nice job.
Nice.
Yeah, I lost a lot of weight for that mount.
You put it back on in Mexico. And then rounding out the top 5 is Cape Gentleman at 140. Now, he's an interesting horse. He's not actually here in the United States yet, but it's an incredible story behind Cape Gentleman. So he is owned by Pierre Manigault, who is the owner of the Post and Courier, who support the Charleston Steeplechase. But Pierre bought this horse because and I'm not sure which one, we have to get it straight. It's either his great-grandfather or his great-uncle. I always thought it was his great-grandfather, but I heard somebody say great-uncle the other day. Won the English Grand National 100 years ago this year. And so it's always been Pierre's dream to run a horse in the English Grand National at Aintree on the 100th year anniversary. So he tasked Arch Kingsley, his trainer, to buy a horse that would suit for the Grand National. And Arch did that. He bought this horse, Cape Gentleman, from Emmett Mullins, nephew of Willie Mullins, the phenomenon trainer of Ireland and the king of Cheltenham. Anyway, and put him with Shark Hanlon, who's a trainer of Hewitt. So Shark's been training Cape Gentleman. He's qualified to run in the Grand National at Aintree on April 15th. And once he finishes there, whether he wins it or if doesn't finish or wherever he finishes, he will ship back here to the United States and run here, likely be pointed for the Iroquois. So those are the top 5 rated horses in the hurdle horses currently for the NSA. Exciting times for all of them. And to Steve's point, longevity. I mean, we've seen these horses year in, year out. They take a year off, and they come back, they're fresh, and they just keep competing. It's just incredible.
So how often during the meet, during the year, would you see a bunch of these horses? Would you see them every other weekend? Would you see them once in the spring, once in the fall? Like, how often do they race in these races?
These particular horses, we might see them at a point-to-point perhaps, which is an unsanctioned, non-sanctioned race, which is basically like a schooling show, if you know about showing, or a track meet where it's just kind of a friendly day, but it's a tightener, and it gives them a chance to get out and knock the cobwebs out and all that. So we might see them at 1 or 2 point-to-points before we see them in a sanctioned race, but likely in the spring, they would hit as Paddington would do. They would do the Temple Gwathmey, which is a Grade 2 hurdle stake at Middleburg, and then they would point for the Iroquois, which is the second Saturday of May. And then they might get put away. Running at the racetrack takes a different kind of horse, and not all of these horses are cut out for that. Snap Decision is one of those horses. So running at Saratoga in the summer could likely be an object for them. So they get a little bit of a freshener, then they might pick up 1 or 2 races in Saratoga, or 1 or 2 races in Saratoga, then run at Belmont, or this year it'll be Aqueduct, and then target Far Hills. So they could get 5 races, 6 races in a whole year.
Okay. That's cool. Very exciting. So if you become fans of these horses, you might see them not once, not twice, but 5 times this year. And again, you can attend these races, buy tickets, see them in person. Speaking of these races, we are going to bring in our next 2 guests. Exciting because, of course, Aiken is tomorrow, which is the first meet of the jump racing season. But they also, this year, are the last meet of the entire jump racing season. So we're going to touch on that. So we have the president of Aiken Steeplechase, Frank Mullins, and Jordan Wyckoff joining us. And it looks like they already have cocktails. I'll unmute you guys. How are we doing over there? Hold on. Can I unmute? Oh, you've got to unmute yourself. Here we go. Jordan's working on it.
Unmuted.
Hey!
Yeah. I said I like
How we doing, guys?
a lot.
It is Friday. It's Friday, you know.
It's always Friday.
We made it. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Frank, it's a pleasure to meet you. Jordan, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm going to start off with the questions, but I am truly the newbie here, so I might tag one of these 2 in. But Frank, what do we have to look forward to tomorrow for the Aiken Steeplechase?
Golly, we have a great day. We have 6 races tomorrow, which we last spring we had 5. So this is an additional race, and we've upped our purses. So that's a good thing. But you know, the big news is we have Topic Changer, Clarabelle, and the Insider face off in race 6. That's going to be a great race. We're going to have all great races, but that's going to be particularly great right there, I think. So we were just out at the track. People are setting up their tents already. We expect a massive crowd. I think I don't know that we could put another person on our new track tomorrow, so it looks great. We need the rain to hold off a little bit, but other than that, I think we're going to have a great day.
So you're at a new venue, and Megan said last fall was the first time you were there. What do you like about this venue, and what are your plans for growth in the next 3 years?
Gosh, well, the track is what I like about this venue. We were able to build a track that is exactly what we wanted. You know, so it's banked even on the straightaways. We have great irrigation, great grass, great turf. We can control the conditions on that, which is and we own this track, so it's our track. We have a lot of sway over what happens on it. So that's a good thing. We have the site is 144 acres. We're in the city limits of Aiken, which is incredible to have that big of a piece of property, essentially downtown. And we have a lot of area to build permanent structures on. So our first one is a tower. We have the plans almost finished on our permanent tower, which will go up on the finish line, of course. And then we want to build barns so we can have people stay there long term, and then an office and an event center there, so we can have our own events and rent it out for weddings or whatever it may be. So this is a great piece of property, and my goal is to have 2 fabulous races and then to keep it busy the rest of the year as well too.
Well, it sounds exciting. I'll have to get down there. In the fall, if not spring next year. So you are the closing meet of the entire industry. What was behind that move, and why are you excited to be the closer this year?
Well, I'm very excited about it. Aiken is just a great town. We have plenty of hotel rooms here for people to stay. We have a great downtown with great shopping, and most importantly, great restaurants. So if you come in for 3, 4, 5 days, whatever it is, there's a lot to do here. We have many, many horse disciplines, Bruce's Field, polo. There's a lot going on this time of year and in the fall when this happens. So you can come here for the steeplechase, and if you're here for a few days, there's lots of other things for you to do. And we're really excited. Traditionally, we had a gala at the end of the steeplechase year, and we haven't had that for many years. So we're hoping we can tie this together with the closing ceremonies and the awards banquet and turn it into a big gala. So that's my hope and goal. And I think that'll be just a fabulous night in Aiken. And I think it'll be well attended by a large group of people. So we're excited to see that happen.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Yeah, so I know Aiken for polo, the Goodman family. I know that they had a string down there for a very long time. Did I hear that you had something to do with polo? Is that also what brought you into the horse world? What got you involved?
Yeah, well, that was my entry into the horse world at Aiken is polo. That was quite a few years ago, but I'm on the board of the Aiken Polo Club, and I have a team and a string of horses and all the things that go with it. So the one thing I didn't know about polo is once you get in, there's no way out. So I'm in, and my wife is a hunter jumper, or almost was a hunter jumper. Now she has the polo bug, and we play together on the same team. So it's fun, and it's a great thing for us to do together. So it's really great. But that was my entry into Aiken. But my wife and I both lived in Augusta, or grew up in Augusta, so we came to Aiken all the time. I was always in horses, and so was she. She at a much higher level than me, so we knew about Aiken and were very familiar with it. And then when it came time to me to find what I hope is my final resting place, Aiken had everything that I could possibly want, and that's why I'm here. So that's what got me here into Aiken.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I heard you dropped Tropical Changer. So last year's leading 3-year-old. Now you both are partners in that horse. Is that right?
That's correct.
That's okay. And now
Steve's going to have to correct her, right? I already see it coming.
What did I do?
Topic changer.
Topic changer. It's okay.
Topical.
It's okay.
Is it topical? Topic changer.
Topic.
Well, see, now everyone's going to remember, so you're welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Good
So
move.
this horse is running tomorrow in a pretty exciting race. What's it been like owning?
Jordan can say a lot more than me, but for me, it's been great to do this with Jordan. Jordan's my one and only son-in-law, and at least at the moment anyway. And it's great to have this common bond. That's the big thing for me, just to do this together. When Jordan's here, he's always in a swirl with horses and the daily racing for him and all that goes on. And this makes me feel more involved and a part of that. So that's the big thing for me. And then all the credit goes to Jordan. He picked Topic Changer, or Tropical Changer, as we changed his name to him.
I mean, it's got to be a thing now. Well, kudos, Jordan. So you picked the horse?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, our history in the flat racing, and it kind of how it all started is we play in every part of the game, right? On the flat side, from owning mares to pinhooking wheelings to yearlings to doing the 2-year-olds. We obviously just got done the OBS sale. So we play in a lot of different aspects of the game. And I feel like what we've done probably the best would be, claiming older horses or younger horses that get better with age and grass and distance, right? And it kind of lent itself well to this. So Carrie actually, when I met her, because it all started with Cross Border, she told me Flintshire was a very, very good jump stallion. I go, I guess that's probably why he's a very, very bad flat stallion, because he's just not a great one. But I like this horse to claim just on the flat, and I actually kind of turned him down, and I was like, the Flintshire, I haven't seen enough of him get really good, and been in the maker type of program, and she ended up convincing me, and we lost a shake on him at the end of Saratoga, and I go, who is claiming? I think it was a 5-way shake. Who was claiming a Flintshire at the end of Saratoga when grass season is coming to an end? And then he ran back, and it was. He didn't run great, and I was trying to buy some horses to go to the steeplechase to help support Aiken, and it might have been a lapse of judgment that worked out great, so I looked good. But I called the guy and I said, hey, I'll buy the horse from you. Grass season's over. You don't really want to take a New York bred to Gulfstream, do you? And it all kind of worked out, and it's funny because I was buying another Flintshire because Carrie kept telling me, just hounding me on Flintshire, who is now actually in her barn that I didn't get to buy and end up with topics. So it was more luck than anything else, right?
Jordan's very modest.
Hey,
So
I
Frank,
mean, yeah.
what happens tomorrow? What's the family dynamic when Clara Bell wins tomorrow?
Steve, so Steve, I didn't know you were going to be on here, but I when we did StableDuel last year for, I don't remember the couple meets that we did it for, and you were on, and you know, I'm so green in this, the jump racing, right? And you're so knowledgeable. So I saw you get on. I was like, I've been on podcasts and, you know, radio shows, whatever for horse, but it's always handicapping, right? You know, I come from the handicapping background, and obviously I saw the questions or maybe topics we might talk about, and none of them was about handicapping. I go, shoot, they know just how green I am. But I've always told Carrie, I go, if that filly gets in that light, she's gonna be very tough. But the family dynamics are, I rather topic. I mean, you mentioned your partner, Patrick, right? And Patrick's obviously a partner in Topic now, and he's in the industry I'm in, and he's a great young guy that will support the industry, and that's what we're all about. But family dynamics, I'd rather Topic win.
Hey, I just want the Wyckoff to win.
But you just solidified yourself as the best son-in-law of the year so
Hey,
far.
he is
it is near the
great.
end of March, but the fact that you're helping your father-in-law fill races at his race meets is you know, that alone gets a gold star. But you know,
it does. Well, you know the story on that. I when I got into this, I asked Jordan, you know, could you send one horse, and then a van shows up with 8. So
I did hear that story.
Jordan's a great guy, but to be part of the you know, this Wyckoff dynasty is really cool for me, and I just want them to do well. That's what I want. So whatever it shakes out, it's fun. We'll have a great time, and it's great to be together with the family.
You know, can I ask a question? So Bri asked earlier in the show about the difference between steeplechase and flat, and my perspective is different from yours. But Jordan, I'm going to ask you that same question. What is it about flat jump racing that attracted you, and what are the differences that you see? Because what I'm gathering from what Frank just said, it's more of a feel-good, rooting for everybody kind of scenario versus, no, we got to win this. We got to take this down because we're looking to get this mare black type, or we need this horse to end the year well because we're looking to syndicate him as a stallion. What's the difference for you?
Well, I guess first and foremost, my father is down here and he's in the background. I don't know if you heard. I tried to convince him to get on. That would be a great trifecta. But
another show.
Another show. I would say it all started with cross-border, right? The utmost importance to us and attracting young people on and keeping the good, you know, keeping horses sound long was thoroughbred aftercare, right? Having a jump horse or having a horse that's a long distance grass type of horse, you know, we've learned very quickly that they stay sounder longer, right? Slower is safer. So it all kind of started with cross-border, right? He is a very high energy type of horse. He would never do well with retirement and living in a pasture, right? And unfortunately, he's New York bred and you can't run past 9, right? So it all kind of started with that. And then Frank stumbled onto this, which I don't think exactly how you asked how he stumbled upon steeplechase and Aiken, but so the stars kind of aligned. So I'm a big believer horses don't like making left-hand turns all day, every day, especially for 6 or 7 years. And, you know, and it's funny. So I met Carrie down there. We were thinking about cross-border, and then I knew he was getting into the role of being in the steeplechase. And as the more I dug I'm kind of with Andy Serling here, is the history and where we are now in flat racing has a lot to do with jump racing, right? And it's part of it that we need to protect.
Yes.
And unfortunately, if you look at the business model, it's slowly dying, I would say. I mean, you know, it's just we can't rely on donors at certain meets to go on forever and ever and put up the money, right? The second generation, third generation aren't going to do it, which goes back to pari-mutuel wagering, EDWs. I mean, I don't like where some of our racetracks take out the last race on the pari-mutuel just because they don't want to show it because they think we might have a fall. You know, half these horses sometimes fall and get up and are fine. Obviously, we see on social media the ones that don't, right? And it's terrible, but slower is safer, right? We all know that. I mean, you can look at Maker's Red Knight, who's 9 years old, who won the Kentucky Cup for $1 million last year and just won at Gulfstream. So we're training these horses for their next life, right? And we're not beating them up to go 3/4 of a mile or 5/8 of a mile, 59 and change every day, because you got to run fast to win a sprint race. So it was partly aftercare, kind of cross-border led me to it. But the economics need to change, right? If we want to convince the Patrick Lewis of the world or me to the world, is the economics need to make some sense, right? You know, and that's kind of the root of it. But if you do get some ADW, and you know, we do promote the pari-mutuel wagering, you know, the economics might get better. I go back to think about where we are right now. I mean, acquisition prices of horses have gone up, feed prices have gone up, the trainers' bills have gone up because help's gone up. And outside of, you know, historical horse racing, which Kentucky Downs and Turfway Park and now Churchill Downs has pushed other racetracks, we really haven't seen the purses going up. So that's a whole nother thought process, but the economics need to work a little bit to get the next generation into the game. You can't just say you're young and successful and this is a fun game, but you're going to lose. I don't know if we can curse or not, but you just can't just continue to lose, right? There has to be some type of upside. So hopefully kind of the big partnership was if we can promote South Carolina to get that ADW. And, you know, what we focused on last year was everyone thinks the first part of the steeplechase swing is too hard. You know, it's very firm ground. You're not going to bring your good horses. And when I talked to Frank is we know Nashville is the big one, right? Far Hills is big too, but we need to create a racetrack and have the ground that has everyone going to come here first to prep their horses for Nashville. And as I'm saying all that, it sounds like I know what I'm talking about. I really don't. I'm just trying to pick and piecemeal from the other really smart people in this.
He knows.
Well, you're playing it off like you know, so good job.
Yeah.
He knows.
Yeah. No, but I would say, and I would add to what you're saying, it is most absolutely the longevity of these horses and the welfare that is so important to everybody involved in steeplechase racing. And, you know, these horses, when they get to steeplechasing, it's a second career. Then there's a third career that could be fox hunting. They could be leading the field for Piedmont Hunt. They could be a 3-day event horse. In fact, I just read an article the other day that 3-day eventers are now really starting to laser focus on thoroughbreds because of their athleticism and their speed and their agility. Yeah, Bri. And there are so many other things that can be done. And one of the things the steeplechase community does incredibly well is help to place these horses in their third career. So once the steeplechase trainer has realized that a horse no longer wants to run over jumps, they are easily placed in other places. Sarah Katz Foley, her husband, Barry John Foley, is a jockey. She has a revolving door of horses coming from steeplechase racing that come to her. She has them for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. She makes them into fox hunters or she gets them ready to go over jumps. And they're going out and doing amazing things. I mean, the opportunities are there. People just need to be more aware of what that second and third career for racehorses, for thoroughbreds are. You know, there's no shortage of them. So thanks for bringing that up and keeping that in your focus.
And I think it's important to note if you are used to watching flat racing, you see on social media and someone is calling out an 8-year-old that's still running on the track. There is something to what Jordan said. Some horses very much like a job. I remember with Team Valor, we retired a horse. He was very unhappy in a slow natured environment. We brought him back to the track as a pony and he found his stride again. Some of them just need a job in what the fast-paced environment. And also to the Olympic side of things, the ones that are jumping 5 to 6 feet, they usually hit their prime in their mid to late teens.
Yeah.
So that's saying something for horses being athletic through all the way up to their 20s. I remember my first show horse was 31 that I was showing 4-H. We weren't doing very much, but still. She was 31 showing and, you know, waltzing me around. So if you see an 8-year-old on the racetrack, I mean, there's a difference between ones that are still doing well and love their jobs to ones that are ready for that next career. But as Jordan said and Megan said, steeplechase can be the second career and then they can go on from there. So I think That was an awesome point, Jordan. Thank you so much for talking about the aftercare and how it's driving. I mean, a bunch of different economics. There's a lot to unpack from what you said, but all awesome points. So I know you all said that you have a dinner party. We thank you so much for coming on, Megan.
Did we get Steve's picks tomorrow? I just want to know.
He's got him on social media already.
Jordan, I have a bone to pick with you.
We don't have time for that right now.
I buy a $12,000 horse and I run him in a starter, and I look at the form. And I'm looking for $15,000 maiden climber types, and I see cross border who run in the sword dancer and the Pegasus turf. And I'll tell my owners next time we're good.
Yeah, I would say if he doesn't win tomorrow, I think he's going to go back to the flat, and then we're going to find a different career for him. But he's doing well. I mean, he shipped poorly last year down here, right? We wanted to bring him back at Aiken last year. We ended up going to Charleston, and it's a different little lifestyle for him. I mean, he's a very quirky horse, but I told Carrie very, very transparently, you have one chance.
Well, we wish you guys luck tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your stories and your thoughts on steeplechase racing, and good luck to you. And Frank, thanks for being such an advocate there for Aiken Steeplechase.
Thank you.
Have
Thanks
a
for
great
having us
event.
tonight. We appreciate it greatly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Okay.
That was awesome. Besides
That was
the tropical, besides the so of course all I can think of now it's topical changer. Yes.
Topic.
Okay. Well, then here's what I'm going to say. That's not my typo. That's someone else's typo in this document. It says topical changer.
Oh,
so I
that
might
would be me. My bad.
Yes. So
Sorry.
I might get some tropic in there, but no, that's okay because I'm over here thinking of Tropic Thunder, that terrible movie. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember this horse. All
Tom Cruise. Ricky Bobby.
Topic changer. Yes.
Topic changer.
Yes.
I can only remember because
And I'll
Carrie
do that.
calls him Poppy, so that helps me to keep it.
Oh, see, I would know that one.
Yeah.
That one. Yes, Poppy. Okay. Topic changer. I take most of the responsibility for that mess up, but I am going to throw some of the responsibilities.
It's
with
okay.
you.
I will shoulder that with you.
That's all right. Now we all know we're going to take some notes on that horse. A couple of the other ones that are running tomorrow at Aiken. Big day. You can watch at nationalsteeplechase.org.
.com.
.com.
And
I put the link in the chat.
That's okay.
Yep.
The live stream is free for the entire year. So that's thanks to the National Steeplechase Association for picking up the tab on that. So tell your friends, tell your family, you can watch all the races for free on the NSA website.
Yep. And if you are following StableDuel on any of the channels, we will pump all of this out. So you will find it there. Steve does a great job. Also, Megan, you can see her Twitter below. She does a great job. So follow any one of us on Twitter. We will pump that out, but you can watch, as she said, all the races live on the live stream. But go. If you can go, buy tickets, get a tailgate, grab your buddies. I mean,
a hat.
The experience is going to be awesome. So Aiken starts tomorrow, but we have plenty more coming. April 15th is the kickoff to the StableDuel partnership here. So get your stables ready because it's coming April 15th. 2 meets, so that's 2 chances to play, $2,000 in prizes, completely free to play, starts April 15th. So anything else, guys? I mean, we did pretty good on time.
No, we still have to talk about Cheshire, which is Sunday.
Yes,
Forgot about
right.
the timber horses, Bri. We cannot leave Cheshire off the docket.
That's because I need to learn about the timber horses here. So we're talking about hurdle horses. That's what we have sort of been covering here. That's what the picture showed. Actually, I'll get a picture of a timber horse on here. But explain to me, Megan, on Sunday is Cheshire, which is another jump racing meet, but it's completely different than what we've been touching on. And what is the difference here?
Completely different in that it is 4 races. And they are all over timber fences, which are split and post and rail wood fences like you would see driving down a road that a farm would have, on their property, their perimeter. It's a solid wooden fence. They are 3.5 feet, sometimes 4 feet. And the Maryland Hunt Cup, which is the most prestigious timber race in the United States, not only because it's 126 years old this year, but because it's grueling. It's 4 miles and 22 fences. And yes, there's a timber fence, and beautiful. Oh, Andiamu, last year's timber champion, 2 times timber champion. Anyway, it's a grueling race, but one of the fences is nearly 5 feet tall, and it's only open to apprentice riders as well. So timber racing is a special breed of horse. It's almost a cult-like following. It is longstanding tradition, and these horses are so incredibly athletic, and a lot of them started out as hurdle horses. Some of them skipped through the hurdles because they weren't taking to hurdles well enough, but they're clever jumpers. And so trainers said, let me try over timber instead. And they've excelled there. So we've got so many, but 4 races on Sunday. You've got the, it's the kickoff to the timber season. It starts out with the Cheshire Open Timber Bowl, where we will see the return of Mystic Strike. Now you talk about longevity. This horse is 14 years old this year. He's won the Pennsylvania Hunt Cup, which is one of the top timber races on the fall calendar for the NSA. He's won it a record 3 times, and likely he'll go back for a 4th time. But he's trained by Todd McKenna. He's owned by Upland Partners, and Gerard Galligan partnered with him last year. He'll be back on board Sunday in this race. It's an exciting race. And then you've got the Patty Nielsen, the 3rd timber race, which is open only to apprentice riders. And that's a 4-horse field. But again, just some of the veterans that we have in the timber division are going there. Then you've got the Asheville Stable Maiden Timber, which was split. So all of these races are 3 miles in distance, and they are running over these types of fences that we're looking at right now. So our timber division is equally as exciting for different reasons. We've got 7 timber stakes scheduled for the spring, a total of $370,000 in purses just for the timber races. And the horse that I just mentioned, Mystic Strike, is notable for winning the Pennsylvania Hunt Cup 3 times. Yeah. Question?
There he is. Nope.
Yeah,
I was bringing him up.
Okay. And then Vintage Vinny, who is the 2-time winner of the Maryland Hunt Cup. He's won the last 2 runnings. He's also a horse that's long in the tooth, and he is cross-entered this weekend in point-to-points on the flat for trainer Joe Davies. His son Teddy rides him. We might see him tomorrow at the Piedmont point-to-point in a flat race, which is where Joe told me last weekend at Warrenton that he was going to run him just to give him a tightener. But he is also just an incredible veteran, and he's won the Maryland Hunt Cup 2 years in a row. And the distance of him winning is like 70 lengths. I mean, it's just incredible. That, I believe, is Dan Nevin when he won 2 years ago. I think he won by 70 lengths that year and maybe 90 last year under Teddy. So he's just an incredible animal. But yeah, big win distances. But we've got Mystic Strike coming back. We have Mercure coming back. We have Timber Champ Tom Garrow coming back. Andiamu, who you had a picture of, 2-time timber champ coming back. Court Ruler, who's a seasoned horse over jumps, is also coming. So those are probably your top timber horses to see this year, but a lot of veterans that we will see. They just keep coming back year in, year out. And again, a testament to the trainers, their conditioners, for keeping them healthy and happy. And fox hunting is a great way to keep them fit and jumping well. And so, yeah, lots of exciting stuff coming up in the timber series. We've got the Maryland Timber Triple, which starts with the first of the StableDuel contest at My Lady's Manor. Then it goes to the Grand National in Butler, Maryland, and then it finishes with the Maryland Hunt Cup. So to win all 3 of those is a really, really big deal for a timber horse. So lots to look forward to. Outside of those, we've got the Virginia Gold Cup. It's the 98th running this year. Also 4 miles, 23 fences. That's about 10 minutes down the road from where I'm sitting right now. Another tremendous meet on the spring calendar. That is the first Saturday of May, same day as the Derby. There's wagering. It's a huge crowd. It's a lot of fun. So that's another big day of hurdle and timber racing. There's a grade 2 hurdle stake that day as well. So lots to look forward to in the timber division this year as well. Hey, there's Jamie Bradley.
So Jamie is asking how many jump tracks in the U.S. Do we know that offhand?
I want to say probably about 22, something around there, because a couple meets run twice. So if I look at the calendar, I think it's 26 meets if I'm guessing. And Aiken is twice, Gold Cup is twice, Middleburg is twice. So there's 6 meets right there that run
Foxfield
twice.
is twice.
Foxfield is twice, thanks.
Yep.
Yeah. So a few of them double on the year, but then you've got several of them that are singles, like Iroquois, for example, which is our first grade 1 hurdle stake of the year. And that is the second Saturday in May. So close to closing out the spring season before we go to the summer tracks.
Gotcha. Well, it sounds like we've got a lot ahead. I'm excited to see the timber races. I'm excited to see the hurdle races. So you've got tomorrow live stream on the NSA website and Sunday live stream on the NSA website. So tune in again, follow everyone on social media, and we'll be tweeting them out. And you can just take that easy, or head over to nationalsteeplechase.com, which is the NSA website we keep referencing. Last, I'll give 30 seconds to a minute. If you're here and you have any questions, drop it in the chat. We will answer. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It was great to interact with you. Edward says, thanks, Meg. Great combo. Thank you for tuning in. Carrie is over here already picking winners. She knows. So listen to that one.
Talking about cross-border. That's what I want to know. She's got many horses running tomorrow. Which he is she referring to?
She's talking about cross-border because she's Jordan was on.
Contest suggestion. Every week, we should have people during the week suggest what cocktail we should be drinking on Friday night.
Well, I like that.
Right?
I like that too.
That
too.
Let's make that happen.
So you heard it here. Our next show is actually the 14th of April, before the first Stable Duel event, which is both Tryon and My Lady's Manor. So we will have our show there. So we will ask for suggestions on cocktails before that. And
one last thing about that is that I will be doing a handicapping pre-recorded show that you can watch live on the NSA website on Fridays in advance of the Stable Duel, where I'm going to go through every race on every card and give my selections on who you should be picking for your Stable Duel contest. So just an FYI, keep heads up for that.
Yep. So lots of resources, and we're open to suggestions. If there's anything you want more of, you want less of, you want me to just make up names of the horses, whatever it is, I'll do it. We're here for you all, and we're just I'm here to learn, have fun, and enjoy more horse racing. So I think that's it on my end. Steve, good luck tomorrow if you've got winners. Yeah.
Good luck.
With our new silks.
Yeah. Striking
silks.
Will design.
Yeah.
We should have put a picture up, but
we
follow
will next
Steve
time.
on social. Yeah, you'll see it on his social
Believe me,
media.
if he wins tomorrow,
When King Bubble wins, we'll put that win photo up.
There you go.
No pressure, Carrie.
There we go. Thank you very much.
All right.
And check his website out for suggestions too. All right, guys, that's it over here. I'm going to end. Have a good night.
Thank you.